Welcome to the next session of Shift Work Summit. Welcome back. I'm your host, Gaurav Deshpande. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Hypertrack. I'm particularly excited about this session as it brings shift work validation into the core of the enterprise, which is your enterprise software. So Sunderstorm is the parent company of Kanha. Bytes, a wonderful product. I can attest to that. With that introduction, let me hand it off to Logan Sands, VP of Technology at Sunderstorm. Take it away, Logan.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me go ahead and get the deck up here. Alrighty. Yeah, hey there, everybody. So as you were saying, this session is accelerating field sales productivity with HubSpot connected location intelligence. I am Logan Sands, the Vice President of Technology over here at Sunderstorm, as he mentioned in his intro here. We'll go ahead and get started with an introduction to kick things off. Then we'll kind of walk through some of the pain points we're seeing through over the last couple of years, the solutions we came up to those, and then in the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'll wrap everything up with a conclusion. So starting off with who is Sunderstorm. Sunderstorm is the parent brand of several cannabis brands. Our main brand is Common Gummies. We are a leading gummy in the United States. I believe the last I heard, we were number 3 cannabis gummy in the United States. We also have a few other brands, including concentrates, and we do some distribution for some third-party brands as well. We do all the manufacturing, distribution, sales, marketing, and everything in between ourselves. This means that we do have a field sales team in each of the states that we operate in. We sell 2 dispensaries, which are our regulated retail partners in all the states that we operate in. And then we currently operate in 4 states, including California, Nevada, Illinois, Massachusetts. And we most recently opened up in Thailand, as well as we have an agreement to launch product into Japan and some potential agreements elsewhere around the world currently in the works. So when I first started, we were actually only operating in California. That was 4 years ago. So as you can imagine, that growth over the last 4 years brings some pains. One of these main areas where we're seeing these pains was within our sales team, as well as our sales management. And there's a few key areas where this pain was being seen. One of them was in our inefficient CRM. We launched Acumatica ERP back in January of 2021. It had some built-in CRM functionality. It was pretty basic. Wasn't necessarily what we were needing. You could basically just log engagements like text, emails, etc., but nothing beyond that. Also, we had the inability to track our reps in real time. Like I said, our sales team is a field sales team. They need to be going out and getting to those dispensaries. When we were operating in solely California, it's fairly easy to manage your team. As a manager, you can get out into the field. You can spend time with your team on a pretty consistent basis. But as we began to launch these other states across the United States and starting to look globally, it becomes a bit more difficult when you're in California trying to manage your team in Massachusetts and Illinois. And even if you make it out there, you can't manage your team back in California. So we really had no way to make sure that our reps were making it out into the field and visiting these stores that they said they were. And they were doing this in their own cars, which means they were obviously allowed to expense their mileage that they were driving on a daily basis. However, we had no way to verify this mileage. Just like we couldn't necessarily verify if they're getting out to the field, we couldn't necessarily verify the mileage that they were expensing. Various reps were using various tools. Some of them were just logging it manually based on the odometer of their car. Some people were using Google Maps or other tools that they were finding. And so most of the time it was probably an estimate and probably inaccurate, as well as it was coming in across various time frames. Some reps were doing it on the paid periods, which were every 2 weeks. Some reps were waiting 6 months to expense their mileage. So you can imagine our finance team was not too happy getting thousands of dollars of expenses at inconsistent times. And basically all of this leading into just siloed software. Our CRM wasn't talking to the softwares our marketing teams were using, basically just making reporting very, very inefficient and nearly impossible. And so with all this in mind, we kind of looked into finding a solution as soon as we could. And we started off finding that solution by, hey, we need a CRM that's going to let us do what we need to do. We landed on HubSpot. I won't dive in too much. HubSpot, world-class CRM. Basically, we just needed something that would allow our sales team to more closely manage their deal flows and other workflows, as well as eventually work with other departments. And so we landed on HubSpot. It has the open API. It's going to allow it to communicate to all of our other softwares. And so once we had that decided, we were like, okay, now we have the CRM. We can track the workflows our reps are working through. How are we going to track and make sure that they are actually getting out into the field, visiting our clients? And that's when we found Hypertrack through the HubSpot app marketplace. One of the main reasons we landed on Hypertrack is HubSpot was new to my team. We had no experience working with HubSpot, integrating with it, on top of it being new to our sales team. And Hypertrack had that pre-built integration for us where we would be able to track all the information it was logging directly in HubSpot. And they were going to do that heavy lift for us, as well as any additional customizations, adjustments we may need. And then finally, we stuck with Acumatica. Acumatica is still our ERP. It's the home base of our company. The company runs off of it. So all of our customer information was going to be held within there. And we were using Redshift and still are using Redshift to host all of our data from these various locations. And we have Tableau sitting on top of it, as well as using Python and various other methods to, analyze the data on more advanced basis. That's not the day-to-day stuff in HubSpot. So like I was saying, one of the key features of all of this is that it had to communicate. They all had to communicate amongst each other. So focusing on the HubSpot, Hypertrack, Acumatica integrations here, everything starts in Acumatica. We generate a new customer or a new prospect that's immediately sent into Hypertrack or HubSpot automatically. Sent into Hypertrack to generate that geofence. If a rep is, within the 250 meters or whatever the parameter we set within Hypertrack is, it automatically logs that visit, and that visit is sent into HubSpot where it is logging, hey, this rep was at this store. They made these number of visits this day, and logging that all in real time, as well as at the end of the day, sending in total mileage. And once that total mileage is within HubSpot, we are then grabbing that total mileage out of HubSpot at the end of each day and pulling it back into Acumatica to kind of close the loop here and generate that expense receipt. So really, there's no manual data entry beyond generating the new customer within Acumatica. Everything else is fully automated for our sales team so that they're not logging any information manually, and also that all of our expenses are coming in on a consistent and accurate basis. And kind of taking a closer look within HubSpot here, this is our field service dashboard that Hypertrack built for us directly within HubSpot, allowing our sales management to manage directly within HubSpot on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, they have all their other deal flows that they're managing on top of this, but this is the Hypertrack specific dashboard they built for us. Starting the top left here, we're able to see if our reps are actually spending time in these stores. They may be driving 200 miles, but how many minutes are they spending face-to-face in these stores with our customers? And then working down to the left middle here, just total mileage in a stacked bar chart allows us to see basically our flow of mileage on a day-to-day basis. And then in the bottom left here, our daily number of visits by user. Maybe they're driving 200 miles, but are they actually stopping at our clients? So it may just be a rep is trying to get out there, prove they're in the field, but now we have the ability to see if they're actually stopping and visiting our clients and prospecting new ones. And then the right-hand side here, we just kind of like to view this as our health dashboard for Hypertrack. It shows us how many inactive users there are on a day-to-day basis. If this number grows above a certain amount, we can send out a reminder in our Slack channels to basically remind people, hey, activate your Hypertrack today. One, to make sure that you're logging your visits, and two, to make sure that you get your mileage expenses created. And then we have tracking health, outage reasons, moving to the right there. And then on the bottom, we have just employee-specific data about outages and some other more nuanced distance, total drive times, etc. And so that was basically it. We had the full ability now to track all of our reps' activities within HubSpot, including mileage, as well as we have more accurate and consistent mileage reporting. And after we found that success, we realized that, hey, this success, we may be able to move this over to our field marketing team as well. Our field marketing team, just to give you an idea, is going into the stores, setting up displays, making sure our customers are properly stocked when our reps aren't getting out there, as well as running demos. So we have two teams. We have our field sales team and our field marketing. We had solved the field sales team issue, and now we realized, hey, this may work for our field marketing team as well. They were using a software called Repsly. It's basically a pretty basic CRM, but we eliminated that and immediately switched them into Hypertrack to track their mileage and their visits. So now anytime a field marketing rep is visiting a store, that will also be sent into the same HubSpot dashboard and company information that is being used by the sales team, so that our sales team can know when the marketing team is out there supporting them. And we're currently wrapping up building the workflows in HubSpot for the remainder of what they were doing in Repsly, including their forms, right? So if a field marketing team member is out in the field and they're filling out information about a customer in one of these forms we generated, it's going directly into the company profile. So our sales team can see within HubSpot kind of what the field marketing team is seeing out there that maybe they may have missed, or they haven't been to that store in a certain amount of time, and they can review the store on a more closely without having to get out there themselves, as well as building that marketing schedules into the calendars of HubSpot so that our sales team can see when they're getting support and demos out at their stores, so that they can better support the stores. Maybe they want to stop out for that demo, or maybe they know, hey, my marketing team's got this one, I can spend my time elsewhere. Basically, all of this just to eliminate the silos between our marketing and our sales team. Marketing and sales obviously need to work hand in hand, and by getting them both into the HyperTrack HubSpot atmosphere, it's basically made everything extremely, extremely easy. And wrapping things up here, just to cover it all, we ended up integrating HubSpot and HyperTrack with Redshift and our existing Acumatica ERP to streamline field sales and marketing management. Even though our initial goal was to only streamline sales, we were able to transition it into our marketing team as well. We solved the challenges related to mileage tracking, visit tracking, and expense reporting, allowing sales rep and management to focus on selling rather than manual audits and reporting. Less time by the managers making sure that their team was actually doing their job, and now they can spend more time working with their team closely and helping them build those relationships. We fully automated the process for geofencing and HyperTrack, route tracking, and expense reporting to ensure that our field reps only need to start and tracking each day. There's no manual entry, there's no manual logging. It's all exact tracking through HyperTrack. There's less admin work and more time spent face-to-face with our clients and prospecting new business. And through all of this, we achieved unified visibility and management, transforming our field team productivity all around, not only with our sales team, but also with our marketing, and taking down those silos between the different softwares. And with that, that is basically all I have. I believe we have some time for questions here.
Yeah, that's wonderful. There are multiple, thank you, Logan. There are multiple questions here in the chat. Let me get to them. First question, how much was the savings for the field sales and marketing team with the deployment? Did you guys measure that or have an estimate for it?
Yeah, so it's relatively new for us. We wrapped this all up in 6 months and have been going for about 2 to 4 months. But just off of the softwares we were able to eliminate with this, we're probably looking at $20,000 to $30,000 annually.
Wow, that's amazing amount of saving. Congratulations. Second question is, what was the process of integrating HyperTrack location intelligence into the HubSpot? How long did it take, or what did the process look like in terms of timeline?
Yeah, so it was fairly quick. I think we had everything turned around in, I would say, about 4 months. The HyperTrack team was extremely helpful. They carried the bulk load of that for us because we didn't have that experience, and they had most of it pre-built for us. And then I think there was a month or two of additional, requests that we had that we worked through, but it was all completed, I would say, in under 6 months.
Excellent. One more question here, Logan. In terms of the deployment now, as you've scaled it out to field marketing team, was their experience also similar to field sales in terms of the savings that came out of the HyperTrack deployment? Have you quantified that?
I would say most of the savings is coming from moving the field marketing in and being able to eliminate Repsly as an additional software. They were tracking their mileage within Repsly already. So the sales team, we were seeing most of the savings around having more consistent mileage reporting, whereas the marketing, most of that savings is coming from eliminating Repsly since they were already tracking mileage within there. But the additional, it's hard to quantify the time that's being saved, being able to manage both marketing and sales within the same atmosphere. So it's been too soon to really see what that savings is like, because like I said, we're still building the marketing team into there, but it'll be instrumental, I'm sure.
Wonderful. And thanks a lot, Logan, for joining us for the Shift to Work Summit.